And hello again, everyone. This is Bernie coming at you with workshop 11, lesson 11 of the Murals and Movement workshop. So we are nearing the end. So our next lesson, lesson 12, we're going to actually show the completed dance mural that's going to incorporate Lisa G's drawing and a couple other images along with the movements that were done by our amazing, wonderful dancers from Attack Theater, Allison, Simon, and Sarah. Okay, so that's going to be exciting, so stay tuned for that. So today then we're going to talk a little bit about the publication process. So that's the fifth step in the writing creative process that we're following. Okay, so but at the same time, the process that we're following, these 5 steps: pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. Okay, so these are the 5 steps that can be really translated into almost any creative endeavor. Okay, so whether you're a painter, a sculptor, a dancer, a writer, whatever that happens to be, you can kind of follow the same kind of process because it kind of follows the way our minds work logically in a lot of ways. Okay, so so when you think about publication, what emotions come to your mind? Is there fear involved for you when it comes to time to show your work or send your work out to a publisher or to an exhibition, or even posting it online like we're going to be doing? What kind of emotions or feelings are there any doubts or excitements that kind of come to mind when you think about publishing? One of my favorite quotes about art is by a painter named Paul Gardner, and he said, "A painting is never finished. It just stops in interesting places." Okay, so I think that really captures a lot of the spirit of what publication is about. Like, we tend to put a lot onto it, that it's like this final thing. It's got to be this amazing finished project that angels have to sing whenever we present it to people, right? And so really, it's good to think of our work as constantly in progress or in process. Okay, so we can be constantly going through the revision and editing process. All right, so at the same time, while we're kind of thinking about showing our work and publishing it in its current form, it's good to be thinking about some nuts and bolts kind of things, like what can I tweak here and there to make it a little bit better? Are there some grammatical things? Is there a color choice that could be adjusted here? Is there a movement that could be a little bit more expressive here? Okay, so could I project my arm a little farther to extend the energy out into the world a little bit stronger? Okay, so there are still some little tweaks and revisions we can still make. And so you're going to see Allison, Simon, and Sarah go through that process in a little bit here. So they do a really great job of sort of unpacking what they had done earlier in the last couple sessions. You can watch them review and revise and revisit what they had already done. So they're going to essentially perform the movement part of the dance mural for you, and then just kind of talk about how that was. And what I noticed was that the more that they practiced doing it together, the stronger the movements were, the more confident and the more in sync that they seemed to be. Okay, so and I remember what Sarah said, actually. She said that it's kind of a digestion process. So the more that you kind of go through the process of making your work, you start to undergo this digestion process where it becomes more of a part of you, essentially. So let's join Allison, Simon, and Sarah as they go through the process of kind of performing once again the dance part of our finished project, and then kind of watch them unpack it and kind of revise it a little bit and just kind of discuss how the process was for them. Okay, and then next week we're going to discuss the process. We're gonna reflect on it a little bit, and we're gonna show the dance mural, of course, in lesson 12, and just kind of talk a little bit about what we gained from the workshop, areas we might want to improve or make better for next time. So please join us for lesson 12, and again, thank you for your participation.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison with the Murals and Movement workshop number 11, which is crazy. We have one more video after this, and congratulations, everyone. We have successfully completed a dance mural collaborative project. Super exciting. So again, I have with me the amazing Sarah Zielinski and Simon Phillips. So they've been joining for the past couple workshops because we've been really making these final workshops one culminating process slash project, and it's all been connected with the writing process. And so we are finishing that up today with the last step of the writing process, which is publishing. So for publishing, it's really all about owning your work and presenting it to whoever your audience may be. So first, we are going to start with just reviewing the work that we've been doing. So we based our movements on this beautiful art piece that one of our workshop participants, Lisa G, so kindly let us use. And I'm just going to pull that up real quick so you guys can see it. So it's this beautiful drawing right here. And Sarah, Simon, and I have really broken this, used the writing process as an example to kind of break down this piece of art and create a story that we have seen. And then we've put movement to it. So we're really expressing our thoughts and our ideas through our movement. There's so much in a process too. Like I feel like that's super important when you're writing a paper or you're developing a piece, creating a movement sequence is really remembering when you get down to that final step, so that performance, to review and really think about where you started. And even just what we did, what me, Sarah, and Simon just did by reviewing those movements, it kind of brought it back to me. It brought back that image and kind of where we started.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean, Allison. It is super cool how kind of thinking about whenever we did it before and then revisiting it and reviewing it, there's a little bit of that like digestion process that happens, and it's a little bit more in your body, and the revisiting is just, it's cool to feel and experience.
To that, kind of keep moving forward with this idea of really feeling the process and every part of this writing process, creation process. We're going to talk about reflection. So this is kind of a great word to sum up what we've been talking about. So kind of going back to the root and practicing the steps and rethinking the ideas and getting it into your body again and again. Just to always go back to that core, that artwork, those ideas that came from us, right, as a community and as an individual. So I guess let's go one person at a time, and let's just talk about maybe some qualities of the movements that we've done in this process, and just some words that describe how any of this process, how any of these movements have made you feel. And so, Simon, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the first word that came to my mind was just confused, actually, and which is okay. And the confusion comes from the challenge, which is what I really, really enjoy. Which is why we do this, to challenge ourselves and think in different ways. And yeah, so it was a challenge to really embody the movement of what we saw. So to take Lisa's artwork, to take something visual and to transform that into movement, it was a bit of a challenge for me. But you know, it's when you just decide to not doubt yourself, and you know, just eliminate the sense of right or wrong, and just, you know, just kind of close your eyes and just allow your body to move in the way that you feel. It's a fun challenge, but it can feel confusing, and it can feel a bit silly or a bit uncomfortable. But that is one feeling. Those are all feelings that I experienced during this. But one that I really decided to embrace instead of run away from was the confusion. Yeah, I decided to accept the confusion as a challenge. And now, even though we have this rather quirky and silly dance that one might look at and see as confusing, it does make sense to me. All right. So, yeah, I'll stick with that.
Oh, I love that, Simon. I love that you ended with too, like that, even thinking about the viewers and or anyone watching, which I feel like that's life, right? We're constantly thinking of what people are seeing or how they're thinking or how they're feeling, and to not kind of let that own you, you know, and the more of just be like, as long as if it makes sense to you, that's enough. So I love that.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, you want to go?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first word that came to my mind was expansiveness, and just looking, I guess, from Lisa G's work and her painting, and just kind of thinking of the expansiveness of nature, and then the expansiveness of all of the intricacies of the characters, whether it's the butterfly, whether it's the bird, and like the expansiveness that their little intricate lives or their little intricate animals touch and pollinate, of like all the different flowers and how the flowers spread and everything. So I guess all of the little intricate details in that. And then I think what Simon was saying, like with the confusion and kind of reflecting upon the process of where you start and trusting all of the feelings that you go through during the process, and then letting yourself have that commitment to, whether like being silly, whether you really are committing to the sun, whether you really are committing to the flowers, letting that commitment be something that you stand on, and then it just feels right in your body and in your bones, and there's no question about it. Like even if there is a question in your mind, it kind of like pushes it aside a little bit. So yeah, expansiveness.
I love that, expansiveness. I had to think about my spelling there for a second. Yeah. If you can't spell it, just show it with your body. Yeah, so I connect with a lot of these things that Simon and Sarah are saying, and I think for me, the process is it's always so interesting, because I'm starting with a piece of artwork, and for me it's like, okay, you're thinking of all these things and you're trying to come up with all these ideas, and for me I'm always thinking, okay, like what's next, like what's the point, and then for this exercise, it seems kind of simple, or like Simon and Sarah said, it may seem kind of silly, but it kind of forced me to be really present in the moment, and also very, is flexibly a word? Flexibility,
Flexibility.
I don't know. For now, we'll call it a word, but flexibly present. So meaning that I was really able to just kind of embody the bird, and if Simon wanted to put in some sound, okay, you know, or if we were speeding it up, or if my waves were going like full body, and I'm like, this might look a little weird, I don't know if people are gonna get this, but it's almost like the process just really allowed me to just kind of go with it. You know? So I've just been taking a couple notes on what we've been saying. So if you've been taking notes as a participant, just read through those notes. It's kind of like a journal, just jotting down your thoughts. So what we have so far, we wrote, we've been saying confused, challenge, think in different ways, eliminate sense of right or wrong, embrace the confusion, make sense to me, expansiveness of nature and intricacies of characters, and flexibly present. All right, Sarah and Simon. So I guess before we go all out and really presenting this piece, I want to kind of talk about that, what I just said, this idea of going all out, or in the dance world, we call it full out. So with the publishing process, it is kind of the final step. So for dancers, I would think of it kind of as a performance. So what does it take, do you think, Sarah and Simon, as a performer, or in the minds of a student who's presenting their final published piece, what does it take to go full out?
Do you want to go first, Simon? Do you want me to go?
I want to start now.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess everybody in that I've danced with, they kind of know that I love the preparation. I love warming up. I love that process of getting ready for something, and I think that it's quite special to get ready to share something so that you can be authentic about it. And so I think that for a dancer, there's a lot of in your body just kind of acknowledging which parts of your body feel a little bit tight or constricted or closed for that particular day, and giving time in a movement meditation exploration to allow those parts to open, to be available, and to feel grounded. I think there's like acknowledging of where you are at each day. It's very different. And so I think there's a beautiful process in that, especially whenever you are getting ready to perform something, so that you can be authentic in that performance. So, you know, whether that's yoga for some, you know, kind of Pilates or whatever that could look like. But I definitely think that movement can start small, and it can start a little bit closer, and then gaining a little bit more of that range of movement. And then once I feel, speaking personally, once I feel a little bit more and open and available and grounded in my instrument, in my body for performance, then there's the connecting to others. Because you are not the only person on the stage. I am not the only person on a screen here. And so I have to say, like with Simon and with Allison, I'm very fortunate that I have known them for 2, 3, 4 years. So I think it's been 4, right, Simon? Or maybe. And so like there's all of that trust and that history. But again, like each day is different. So just checking in and saying, in a virtual world, obviously it's different because we don't get to like touch, but just kind of checking in and seeing where everybody's at as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Sarah. Yeah, one word for that. I always like to think of is just focus. Yeah, just bringing all of those things, like where I am with my body, and where I am with each other. So really focusing on that and really bringing presence, just into your system, into your being. You know, so yeah, that's really important and part of going full out, because you have to be fully present and realize where you are and who you are in that moment and how you can be. So yeah, like we said before, just also acknowledging the process. So we talked about where, knowing where the piece came from, and really, for a second, just going back to that and really kind of like imagine yourself as a baby. You know, what would you, how would you, you could think of like, oh, what would you tell yourself if you were holding yourself as a child right now, or if you were talking to your kindergarten self right now? It's another example. Like, what would you say to yourself? So it is nice to, yeah, to go back to that sense of origin and understanding where it all came from. For that was an extreme, talking about yourself as a baby, but you could even just go back initially and go back to the piece of artwork that we started with. For this example, it would be Lisa's artwork. So just to look at that with new eyes again, as we like to say sometimes. And then yeah, once you feel focused and present and like you have a sense of all that understanding, is for me it's just to have fun. Yeah, have fun with it and really embrace all of those things. And you get to, part of performance artists, you get to be your fullest self, but also kind of add a layer of another character. So maybe instead of just Simon, I'm like silly Simon, or free Simon, or groovy Simon. In this case, I'm like sunshine Simon, cool bird Simon. Yeah, so you get to kind of like transform and get to play dress up almost, or just kind of get to play this fun game of I don't know, whatever you want to call it. When I was younger, I used to pretend like I was on TV or something like that. So I kind of, this is weird like now, because we essentially are on like TV or a computer. So it's like maybe I've come full circle.
All of these are important. And I think, as you can hear from Simon and Sarah too, is that everyone's process of really how they want to prepare themselves for that final step of performing is different, right? Because I know even for me, I have every excuse in the book why I'm not a performer and how I get so nervous getting on stage. And I think a lot of people probably feel that way when they're like writing a paper. in reading a paper and sharing it to people. So I think there's a lot of there's also a sense of fearlessness that you have to kind of embody when you're really going full out. And I think that's even if you're not feeling completely fearless. I think the fact that you're willing to like stand up there, or the fact that me, Sarah, and Simon are willing to get in virtual world in our bedrooms and move to a piece of artwork with people that might watch this and be like, what are you doing? So even if, when you start presenting and you're not fully fearless, if you say that word over and over again in your mind and really just reflect, trust the process that you've gone through with the writing process, the creation process, and then just get up there and do it. And like Simon was saying, have fun with it. When you're reading that paper, keep those feet grounded, speak loud and proud, even if you're not feeling that till the very end. Or like this piece, we're about to present our published, completed piece, full out to the best of our ability, with that kind of sense of fearlessness for whatever that looks like to each one of us as individuals, and now as a virtual community. So we're gonna step back, get in a nice starting position, which I encourage you to do too, and to film yourself so that you can watch it and be proud of every moment that you watch. And I just want you to go full out with the movements that we've created, Sarah and Simon, and the movements that you've created, participants. Just own those movements, put it into your body, and just dance it like you've never danced before. All right, we ready?
Because
Okay.
Sarah talked about like movement to get our bodies prepped. So do we want to do like a real quick like warm up? So for example, for one way I like to warm up, I just like to shake. So just shake your arm, shake the other arm, shake one leg, shake the other arm, other leg. Try to shake one arm and the opposite leg. Switch, try to shake the other arm and the opposite leg. Then shake out all four. And then 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now shake out your head. And then shake out all of them. And now I'm gonna shake it and pass it to Sarah. This shows how she gets ready.
All right, I'm gonna take a really wide stance with my feet so that I feel like I'm powered up, and then I'm gonna spread my arms out really wide and just feel like all of that is radiating in from my center as I bring it in, and then I bring it out, 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 out. I'm gonna do that 2 more times. I'm gonna bring it in, and then I'm gonna share it out. 1 more time, I'm gonna bring it in, share it out, and then I'm gonna pass it off to Allison.
Woo! Thank you. All right, and I'm just gonna take all of that, and I'm just gonna, whether you're sitting or standing, whatever you feel comfortable with, I just wanna like kind of put the roll. So put some rolls into our shoulders. And I like to just do some simple walks. And again, if you're seated, you can just stay seated, get cozy on the ground, roll out those shoulders. But I like to really give myself what I call a strut. For some reason, it makes me feel very confident. And I just put that roll in the shoulders, makes me feel fierce, sexy, strong, and just give me a nice little strut. Yes, you can roll the shoulders forward. Walk it in a circle. Let the arms just go, let the hips just go. Bah, 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 bah. And then you end with a nice, fierce pose. Oh, yeah, love it. And we're ready to perform. Okay, so I guess should we just take our starting position and just using our bodies, no words, and let's just present our piece together. You ready, team?
Yeah, sure. I just note that I think I'm gonna do it sitting, just because so we can show how it can be done standing or sitting, wherever you are. Even you can maybe even do it lying down. So, and I think Allison and Sarah are gonna do it standing. So we're just showing different ways how you can still, even though I'm comfortable sitting, how I can still do it and show it, present it full out.
Perfect. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah, we got a bow. Give a nice bow.
Give a nice bow.
I actually really hate bows, but it gives a nice sense of completion.
And congratulations, everyone, for completing workshop number 11. We'll see you for 12.